dialing in to the introduction episode of a little new podcast that we're doing. I'm Ravi Lulla.
I'm ODB, Damon Benning.
That's Damon Benning right there. You may have heard of him.
Once or twice.
And we're doing a little podcast called Dish and Ish. Now, you might hear that and say, what on earth does that mean? And that's a fair question. I think it's something that we just thought of that sounded good, and I'm okay with that.
Well, you know, people use ish
as a replacement for other words that DB doesn't like to say because of that good, clean living.
Ish.
I don't mind as much.
And then we just dish. We just talk. Like we talk a lot about stuff.
So I'll be honest. I might have trapped you here a little bit.
Trap game.
I basically just wanted to hang out with DB for like an hour a
I'm like,
week.
hey, what's up? Hello.
And I was like, you know what? If I put it on the schedule and make it a podcast, it'll actually happen. If I actually just try and hang out with him, it'll be like once every 6 months.
It's not that fun. It's not.
But I like talking to you. We have a good time when we chat together.
Yes, we do.
And so this is how I kind of envision this, and I think we're on the same page here.
Yeah.
Is a lot of times when we're doing shows together, we have this little conversation, and it's like, oh, you know, we were talking off air. And I think it drives people crazy because half the time it sounds like the off-air conversations are just as interesting, maybe more interesting, don't tell anybody, than the on-air conversations.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
So I think this is just kind of the off-air conversations. That's my plan, at least.
Listen, and it could be a variety.
Anything.
Of things, right? Because we're usually all over the place. Right?
Yeah, so that's where the ish comes in, obviously. The dishes... We'll probably start with sports most of the time.
Yeah.
Or
things kind of like sports.
Yeah, like sports adjacent.
Sports-ish.
Sports-ish, sports dish, you know? Yeah. We kind of get in that but you know DB and me, we tend to go off the rails a little bit, but it's usually worth listening to.
Oh, for sure.
And so that's kind of what we're doing here. We I wanted to spend a little more time with DB talking about everything that interests us. Whether that's sports, you know, we get into music and
food,
movies and
politics.
We get into food a lot. Yeah. We get a lot into food.
Rub-a-dub-dub.
So whatever is kind of on our minds at the time, this is your little insight, your little sneak peek into just hanging out with DB and me.
A couple guys that like to just shoot from the hip.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we just kind of wanted to invite you in to hang out with us.
May not always be PC.
No, that's why it's the off-air conversations. It's not always safe for terrestrial radio.
Hey, listen, we don't have to be safe. We don't have to be safe.
No, but it will be fun. It will be, I would like to think, informative.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Not always, but a lot of the time.
So what's the line in Billy Madison? Everyone is now dumber
for having heard you speak. I hope nobody feels that way.
Let's hope it doesn't come.
And if they do, they'll at least have had a good time while they did it.
But like, if you were Eric, would you have picked like business ethics?
No, probably not. I mean,
there's your guy.
Well, you asked me the same question last year.
Yeah, Eric. Robbie, is there failure in sports? Go.
Listen, we got on that one day, and that's the kind of stuff.
That was the heater.
That's the kind of stuff we can get into too, because there's a lot that happens in sports outside of just the games, and I think a lot of times that's what DB and I are interested in most.
Yeah, right. Like, why would you run it back with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum?
You know, that's a good question. Or Joe Mazzulla, for that matter.
Why is Kristaps Porzingis the answer to their issues? Like, what are we doing here?
I don't think he's ever been the answer to anybody's issues.
I don't know how much. So you got a guy that historically, since he's been in the league, is a lot like the guys he's playing with. You wonder how much they enjoy winning. Like, how competitive are they?
That's a fair question. I mean, I've got a personal interest. Like, how old are the Warriors going to be next year? They're going to have a mean age of about 38.
Yeah.
Between Chris Paul and Draymond, you got. I mean, Steph's getting.
Do you want Draymond back?
I do not want Draymond back. I haven't wanted Draymond back for years.
It doesn't seem like Draymond wants to be back.
Listen,
how much more can he get from opting out from Golden State?
Listen, he's going to get a number that is stupid.
No, from Golden State.
From Golden State, I think they probably cap out
a team that's already about $400 million over.
they're going to be $1 billion team next year. Like with taxes and everything, they're going to be $1 billion team.
It's unbelievable.
It's especially because how harsh the penalties are now.
They just keep funding the league.
They do, which you're welcome, everybody. But it's stuff like that.
That number is extraordinary, by the way.
The $1 billion?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a big number for anybody.
I mean, you had to move into the new arena, and now you're going to end up giving it away, a lot of it away in these next couple of years to the rest of the league because you just can't manage the cap.
Well, I don't know if they can't manage the cap or if they just decided they don't care.
No, they're just going for it.
They're just like, hey, we've got a window here. Let's go for it. But
if you're going to pay that much money, though, you
better win.
You should win.
You better win. And they did not last year. It was ugly. So we'll get into all sorts of stuff like that. Obviously, we're going to talk Nebraska football. I know it's a big topic around here, I suppose.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that stuff, and hopefully into some topics that you don't hear everybody else get into. That's kind of the goal here.
Yeah, no question.
Well,
and I'm here for it.
I'm here for it too. at least on week 1, we're here for it.
Mind, body, and spirit. Hopefully, it's not 2 out of those 3 sometimes.
It's gonna be called Dish and Ish. That's Damon Benning. I'm Ravi Lulla, and we'll be coming to you every week.
Yeah, don't you dare miss us.
A Hurrdat Sports Network production.